We're going to have a damn good time here talking about the future of this Beaver Dam. So we've had a couple people ask me where my accounts are going and all that type of stuff. And so I wanted to take a quick look at our accounts and where they're going to head here in 2025. It's weird to say that it's 2025. I feel like 2024 happened in like a blink of an eye, but you know, life's like a toilet paper. The farther you go, the smaller the roll gets, the faster it's going to run out. So, you know, we're running to the ends of our life quickly. Jumping into our first account. So, unfortunately, we do have a little bit of bad news. I may be getting too busy for running 3 accounts, and so we might have to cut it to 2 accounts very soon. When the things in my life happen, then I will look at doing this. But for now, we are going to run all 3 accounts, and we'll kind of continue from there. And we're going to let our members decide which of our accounts we keep, the main account and then either the member account or the free-to-play account. So it'll be kind of up to them where we go. But on this one, this is our Leia Rush account. This is a free-to-play account. As you can see, we've made some significant plot progress in the months since we've started this. Towards Leia, we have lot-ready Geos for our guild. We have a good Phoenix team going. We're working on a CLS team, kind of utilizing our requirements like Drogon and CLS for a CLS team. We're working on our last couple of characters that we need to get to for Leia, and so we're kind of in the home stretch for Leia. We're almost done with the last of the characters, and then it's just relicking characters. Shouldn't be too long into 2025 before we get Leia, and then we'll be looking at Executor or going towards Jedi Knight Luke while we wait to get the Razor Crest shards to finish the Executor. So I'm hoping to have at least a GL and a GL ship this year, and perhaps a GL and a second GL instead if it's going to be a long time getting the Executor shards, because unfortunately when you only play once a day, it's kind of hard to get Razor Crest shards. It's going to be much faster for a player who's playing multiple times a day and is able to check the shops. But overall, it's doing solid in GAC. I have no I have no fears or hesitation in saying we're going to make it to at least Bronzium and probably Chromium by the end of this year on this account. We will have a solid GL and maybe 2 or a GL and a GL ship by the end of this year. So I'm excited to see where this account goes. It's been putting in a lot of real good work, and I gotta say the new free-to-play changes for like raids, the new changes from level 1 to 85, those could use some work, but overall this account's going very smoothly. I mean, you know, I've got 4 relic characters and they're all solid relic characters, and you know, I'm not having a problem with most of my materials. So the beginning was a little rocky with just because you run out of training droids and ability materials and all kinds of stuff level 1 to 85. But nowadays we're doing good, and we're doing one step in front of the other, and we'll get there, I'm sure, this year. I'm very excited to have a Leia, and then after I get Leia and getting probably Executor, we're gonna look at trying to push our GP up to 4 million as fast as we can, because Leia can do all of Proving Grounds by herself, and so then we can start working on the Proving Ground characters earlier than we normally would in an account like this, and do all of the Proving Grounds nodes, which means we can start working on Bane and Malgus, which are 2 excellent teams we can get from Proving Grounds. So going into our next account, this is the one that our members get to choose where it goes. And so the first thing they chose was Afra, and so we did an Afra rush. We're still working out a couple of the kinks for the Afra rush. We're finishing up Chewbacca and Han Solo for our Sonostaros team, trying to make sure we take advantage of our teams that we're building, because we don't want to just finish the Afra and then move on to our next project. So that's kind of what we're working on here. Is we're finishing up our Afra farm, and we are headed towards JKCK, which is their next suggestion. The next 2 farms we're going to be working on are going to be Executor and AGL, and I think we will get both of those by the end of the year fairly easily, I'm going to be honest. And so those are our next 2 projects on this account. Which GL it is, that will be up to our members. Could be Lord Vader, could be Ahsoka. That won't happen this year if they choose Ahsoka. But whatever they choose, we're going to go for it, and we're going to make it work. And I'm going to try and keep up with the free-to-play account with this account, even though it's not being efficient and it's just going for passion projects, essentially. But we're going to try and keep pace with the free-to-play account, even though it started quite a bit after, or quite a bit before the other account. So we'll see where this goes. It's not really up to me, but I assume we'll get a GL and a GL ship in this account as well. We already have our first couple solid teams, and so we're just moving on from there. I'm very excited to see where this account goes moving forward. And very excited to continue using Hondo to solo things like Sith Eternal, because I find that hilarious. Honestly, this is one of my favorite things to do is the GAC for this account, just because it's so wild, wonky, and weird. I love it. I've got a solo Savage, I've got a solo Hondo, and a solo Vader, and it's like, how do I use this and win? And I love that. But that's about all we have for this one. It's making significant progress on its farms. We only need like 2 more characters done, and then we can finish out our Zonastaros team, and then it's just getting up the characters to gear 12 for JKCK and getting ourselves a JKCK team, maybe relicking up Bastila and that type of thing to go along with them, so we're not just, having a JKCK sitting in our roster. But going into our main account. Now, our main account has made a lot of progress. In the last year, we've gotten 3 GLs. We got Ahsoka Tano, we got Jabba the Hutt, and we got JML. And so we've gotten 3 GLs in the last year, and then we got Rey right before that, and so we've had some good progress in the last year and 2 months. We've had 4 GLs, and I don't think it's going to slow down from there. I am taking a break for a bit because we got the Gungans, we've taken up a lot of stuff and done a lot of side projects and a lot of things, but we've been neglecting some stuff in our roster. This little gal has been sitting here at gear 12 for a long time and deserves some Zetas. My Night Sisters in general deserve some work. We're going to probably take a moment, get the Great Mothers. Right now, our current project is just getting the Bad Batch done, because I really need it for the Marauder. The fleet meta is in shambles, and it's driving me nuts. And so I'm going to be working on that next, but mostly we're in cleanup mode. Getting a Relic 7 Malgus, putting a couple extra Relic levels into some characters here or there, finishing up a couple farms that I just have partially done, and getting them fixed up and ready to go. And then after that, we'll jump into Profundity, and then we're going to jump into Leia, and then JMK. Profundity's close, and we're assuming we're getting a lifter soon, but not only that, it beats Leviathan right now, and I need an extra Leviathan counter. Regardless of how shoddy it is in the meta currently, it's still a meta fleet and still going to be helpful for the roster. So Profundity next, and then we're going to jump right into that Leia. Leia, I think, isn't actually going to affect my roster much, besides giving me a more solid defense. And same with JMK. We've kind of completely developed our offensive teams, and we are good on offense. Now at this point, we're just filling our defense and preparing. And I'm going to say by 2025, we're getting into Kyber 1. By 2026. By 2026, we will be firmly planted in Kyber 1 with this account and have 0 problems. If I hadn't been going for so many PPs and things for content like Ahsoka Tano, I honestly think this could have been firmly planted in Kyber 2 by the end of this year, and we could have probably been pushing to Kyber 1 towards the beginning of this year. But we did do a lot of passion projects, and we did do a lot of that stuff. But right now, filling holes, gonna give me 2 months, 3 months to fill some holes, and then after that, we're gonna go straight into Profundity and Leia, and I'm assuming that we'll get Profundity, Leia, JMK, and Leviathan all within probably a 6 to 7 month period, just based off of what I already have in the roster, because we already have a Relic HK, Relic Malgus, Relic Revan, Relic, we have most of everything we need for basically every farm going forward. Take a look at this journey guide. We go to Leia, and it's 8 of 16, right? Captain Rex is already Relic 3, R2D2 is already Relic 7, CLS is Relic 5, 3POC's Relic 5. You go into Lord Vader, and all of these are essentially going to be relicked in the next couple of weeks, just because I'm doing the Bad Batch right now, and everything else is either gear 12 or relicked. JMK, we're already at 7 of 16, and a lot of these are already relicked. My General Kenobi's at Relic 7 of 8. Very, very easy to jump into those. And even looking at our Executor and Profundity, or Executor, Leviathan and Profundity, I have Jin at gear 12, Hera at Relic 3, Cassian at gear 12. All of this is kind of just ready to be taken up. I have all the ships done. Leviathan, I have all the ships except for one done, and that one is a Cantina farm, so it shouldn't take me much time. Sith Trooper Relic, Sith Empire Trooper Relic. Is there a single character in this list that's not relicked? A Sith Assassin and Shorty are the only 2 that I'm going to have to work on. That's it. The rest of these are already relicked, and it's just bringing up their relic levels. So we are looking at a year where I'm basically going to be finishing out the last of the old content and catching up kind of to the end game players. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with 2 meta ships and 2 GLs within 6 months. So we'll see about chasing current meta stuff, but I'm at a point where like I spent so much to get Ahsoka doesn't seem worth it. I couldn't make content off of it. Like one of the big reasons that I went for Ahsoka was to make content because I'm a content creator, and you know I was gonna make a guide for the event. You can do the guide, you can do the event blindfolded. It's so easy. It's so incredibly easy. So like there's no point for me making a guide. I'm gonna make one eventually. It's just going to be telling people, hey, you can do this with your eyes closed. Bare minimum speeds is no speeds, and you could do this with basically no mods. Like that's basically what the event guide is going to be. And so like I don't see a point for me when to push for new stuff when the events are not going to be hard, and that makes it so that way I can't make content for it, and it's not actually going to help my account that much, because in the time that it took me to get Ahsoka, I could have had Leia, Jabba, and Profundity done. So like I don't know. I'm not going to focus on anything new unless it's earth-shattering for probably the first 6 to 8 months of this year, and then we'll start moving back towards farming for new stuff. But at that point, we'll be good to kind of follow our PPs, go for, if the Season 3 Bad Batch stuff is cool and I like it, I can go for that, or I can go for what's meta, and I can kind of pick and choose, because once you have, a solid basis of GLs and you have your GL fleets, you can kind of go wherever you want and just enjoy yourself. So we'll see what happens, but that's basically the plan for the Beaver Dam in 2025. So we got 2 accounts we're hoping to get to Chromium and getting a GL and a GL ship in both of them. And then we got 1 account who's looking at 2 GLs, 2 GL ships, and getting into Kyber 1. So exciting year. 2026 is going to be a great year. And I mean, hopefully it'll be a great year for you too. I'm excited to hear what you guys are doing this year. So tell me, what are your guys' goals? Do you have a GL that you're finishing this year? Are you at the point where you're like, you have so many Lightspeed bundles where you're going to finish 3 GLs? Are you got some PPs that you want to do and you want to take a big break from big projects? That's fine too. Let's hear what you guys have planned for this year. I'm excited to hear in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you throughout this year. You guys are beautiful.